Hi everyone, I'm Eileen. If you're new here, this channel is all about luxury minimalism and intentional shopping tips. Today, I want to talk about some of my best financial decisions. Before I start, I just want to say I am far from being perfect. I have my fair share of bad financial decisions, but I'll leave that for another day. I wanted to make this video because I feel like within the luxury community, money is not a very common topic. I think there's a misconception that if you can afford to buy luxury items or designer handbags, then surely you don't have to worry about money. But that is often not the case. A lot of people who buy luxury pieces are real people with a day job, just like me. The reality is, I have priorities that I need to take care of, so sometimes I do need to make choices. So I hope this video will help you to look at shopping in a more realistic way. One of the best financial decisions I've made is having a very small and personal wedding. We had about 40 guests at our wedding, and they were the dearest and closest people for us. It was a simple ceremony, but it was a lovely day and we had a wonderful time. I feel like because the wedding was small, my husband and I were able to focus on each other rather than stressing about everything having to be perfect. I can honestly say wedding planning wasn't stressful for me because we kind of kept everything simple. The expense for the wedding was modest, and thanks to the generosity of our guests, the bill was pretty much completely paid for. Most of our guests gave us money instead of gifts because they knew we were still finding our feet in the real world. Looking back, I'm really glad we decided to go for a small wedding because it was what we could afford at the time, so I'm just really glad we chose to be honest with our budget. I've never really wished we had a bigger wedding. It was tiny but really special for us. Another best financial decision I've made is choosing not to have an engagement ring. When we decided to get married, I told my husband to not buy me a ring because I would much rather use that money as our house deposit. I made that decision because I knew we were both new in our careers, so I didn't want to put any unnecessary pressure on ourselves. I'm not gonna lie, because when I was a teenager, I would dream about being proposed to with a big diamond ring. I even told my sister the ring had to be Tiffany & Co. But somehow, after I met my husband, all that just doesn't matter anymore. Anyway, years later, when we were more established financially, my husband offered to buy me a ring. So we went to Cartier, Tiffany & Co., Hermes, De Beers, Van Cleef, and you name it. But in the end, I decided not to go for it. I don't know, I just feel like I've been doing fine without a ring for years, and I never feel like I'm missing out on anything. And to be honest, I really don't think I will wear a big diamond ring on a daily basis. So I gathered there's no reason for us to spend a fortune on something just for the sake of it. Another best money decision I've made is investing in myself. Now, I've bought many expensive designer items in the last 10 years, but there are not many things to which I would say, thank God I spent my money on this. However, when I use my resources to invest in myself, it truly feels amazing. And this can be in the form of investing in my health, happiness, or well-being. I used to have a lot of acne on my chin. Going to the dermatologist cost me a fortune, but it was worth every penny. I also had braces done twice, and it was a fantastic investment. I happily pay for body massage as well because it really helps me to relax and de-stress. Something else that's worth investing for me is learning. When I make time for learning, I always feel more fulfilled and inspired. Since last year, I've been taking a lot of classes on Skillshare, and I want to say a special thank you to Skillshare for sponsoring this video. Skillshare is an online learning community with thousands of classes, including website design, creativity, video editing, creating a business, and so much more. Recently, I've been really into digital drawing. It's still quite a new thing for me, seeing I only started drawing on my iPad a few months ago. So I've been taking classes to improve myself. Last week, I took a class by Vashti Harrison and it's called Illustrating in Procreate, Drawing a Shareable Time-Lapse. Vashti talked about how to create beautiful illustrations by putting all the basic elements together, such as sketching, coloring, and lighting. I really enjoyed this class and I got so many good ideas from it. If you want to try out Skillshare, I have a link down below for you guys. And the first 1,000 people to click on the link will get a free trial of Skillshare Premium membership for 1 month. I really enjoy learning on Skillshare and I have a feeling you will love it too. Moving on, another best financial decision we've made is buying a house. I'm really glad we bought our home when we did because we really enjoy where we are. The location is great and the size of our home is perfect for our small family. With our jobs, we never really have to travel or relocate, so it makes sense for us to own a place. For some people, renting is a much better option, and depending on where you are, it might be cheaper as well. So mathematically, owning a home might not always be the best investment, but I personally find a lot of comfort in owning a place that I can call my own. It might have something to do with my personality because I'm a typical home person. I'll quite happily stay in my pajamas all day and not leave the house for days. Anyway, we feel very blessed to have our own place. I know in some places, the housing market can be very competitive to the point it's nearly impossible for an average person to own a home. In fact, please let me know where you're from and if buying or renting is the more popular option in your area. My next best financial decision is paying off my student loan early. I was very fortunate that I got a scholarship, but I did have a small student loan. As soon as I started working, my main focus was to pay the loan off, and I managed to do it in about 2 years and a bit. To some people, it might make more sense to pay off the loan slowly and invest the money instead. But I think I did what I knew was the best at the time. So I can't say I have any regrets. It's refreshing to not have to carry the burden anymore. Another best financial decision I've made is investing my money. I actually wish I started investing earlier, but it is what it is. So I mainly invest in stocks, ETFs and index funds, but recently I've been really interested in cryptocurrency. This year I've been reading books about cryptocurrency and it has been so eye-opening and fascinating. I'm sure you've heard about Bitcoin on social media. At first, I didn't think much of it, but the more I look into it, the more I understand why people think cryptocurrency could very potentially be the future currency. If you're interested in this topic, I highly recommend the book called The Bitcoin Standard by Saifuddin Amos. This book talks about how money came about and how our currencies might not survive forever and why cryptocurrency could be the future. Honestly, I read this book with a lot of skepticism, but it really is interesting and it has changed my perspectives about the whole cryptocurrency thing. So those are some of my best financial decisions. The reason I wanted to make this video is because I want people to see that it's normal to have commitments and sometimes we do have to choose. I mean, when I was trying to pay off my student loan, I really wanted a Louis Vuitton bag, but I couldn't have both. So I chose to buy the Louis Vuitton later. Similarly, I really wanted a home that I can call my own, so I decided not to have a big diamond ring. If you're quite young, you most likely can't have it all, at least not just yet, but that is okay. Just live your life at your own pace. In the beginning of the year, I promised to make more wholesome content for this channel, so I really hope you enjoy this one, and if you do, please leave me a thumbs up. I really appreciate it. So that's it from me. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next one. Have a nice day.